how's it going? I'm Sean, and this is Indigenous Patriot. Thank you for joining me. Today, I'm just going to have a quick conversation about some things that are on my mind because they kind of bother me. So, we don't have true accountability, in my opinion, in our political sphere because it all revolves around maintaining the politics. When somebody commits a crime, there's no true consequence if the people that are supposed to hold that person to the consequence happen to like them or happen to support them because their professional futures happen to rest on that person's laurels. So instead of charging people for things that they've done wrong, it's excuse after excuse after excuse. The common refrain is that the Democrats were after Donald Trump since before he became president. And yeah, okay, I can see that. They were after him because he started out saying, Russia, if you're listening, about Hillary's emails. And look at how that turned out, okay? At the end of the day, how did Hillary's emails turn out? I'll give you a hint. So, we also ran into accountability when it came to the Ukraine issue. Donald Trump made a phone call to Zelensky in Ukraine asking him to check into Hunter Biden and the Burisma issue, despite the fact that the Ukrainians had already investigated Hunter Biden for impropriety and sent his taxes to the State Department. It's a political thing. He withheld already apportioned aid, I might add, which is different than the claim made by Joe Biden, who was talking about future aid and not already apportioned aid. So the answer when the Democrats decided that they wanted to impeach Donald Trump for the Ukraine issue was that we need to let the voters decide. That it's too close to an election. We need to let the voters decide. Well, guess what happens? He gets impeached, but he's acquitted by the Senate because the Senate is made up of a majority of Republicans who place their professional futures above proper conduct in office. Impeachment is a totally political device. Has very little to do with actually breaking the law, as Lindsey Graham put it during the impeachment of Bill Clinton.
What's a high crime? How about if an important person hurts somebody of low means? It's not very scholarly, but I think it's the truth. I think that's what they meant by high crimes. Doesn't even have to be a crime. It's just when you start using your office and you're acting in a way that hurts people, you've committed a high crime.
So Donald Trump doesn't get removed from office. We sit here and we see him mismanage coronavirus, telling Bob Woodward that the virus is deadly, that it's worse than the flu, but then to the public he's saying, oh, it's not that bad, it's like the flu, it'll go away, and all this shit. And then he ends up admitting that he downplayed the virus because he didn't want to cause a panic, which politicizes mask wearing, vaccines, and almost anything to do with the coronavirus, contributing to deaths. You know, we saw the death of Herman Cain after attending the Tulsa rally, okay? So, impeachment and removal, the first time, could have saved us from that. Then we end up with the storming of the Capitol. So, we have month after month where Donald Trump is saying things like the only way that the Democrats are going to win is by cheating. Mail-in ballots is going to be rife with fraud. Cheating. China. Radical Democrats, radical left, and all this dumb shit, okay? Feeding the ire and impatience and the actual fear of his constituents, saying that if the Democrats get elected, it's the end of the world. We're going to go into a socialist apocalypse. Everybody's going to be giving all their shit away, and nobody's going to be rich, and everybody's going to be poor, and we're all going to run around screaming because MS-13 is going to be living next door. It's like the dumbest shit, okay? Obviously, he doesn't state literally everything I just said, but actually most of it has been either stated or implied by he or his cronies.
The Woketopians will settle for Biden because they will make him an extra in a movie written, produced, and directed by others. It's a horror film, really. They'll disarm you, empty the prisons, lock you in your home, and invite MS-13 to live next door.
So, today, the vote comes up because, you know, Rand Paul, who is about as useful as a pile of shit in a roadway, says, you know what? This is unconstitutional. Let's throw it out. Okay? I'd like to point out that Rand Paul was one of the 7 that went to visit with Putin, and we still don't know what that was about, do we, Rand? Should we ask your neighbor? So Rand Paul puts up for a vote the idea of throwing the impeachment out as unconstitutional. Only 5 Republicans vote to maintain the impeachment, vote that it's, you know, actually constitutional. And by the way, it is constitutional because this has been ruled in the past. I mean, let me ask you a quick question here. If you cannot impeach Donald Trump for doing something at the end of his term, how do you hold somebody accountable, and where is the line that we draw? When is something worth actually convicting for? When they have a D next to their name? There is no, like, single standard. It's all political. It's all double standards. And as the constituency, we're kind of tired of that, okay? We are tired of seeing, oh, you know what? I'm a Republican. He's a Republican. Let's give him a pass. Or, you know what? That's a Democrat, and I'm a Democrat. I'm not going to look at that. No. You hold them accountable because they did something wrong. It doesn't matter what political leaning they are. When you think about it, does this mean that, you know, the president literally could shoot somebody on 5th Avenue January 20th, 2025 and get away with it? I mean, we can't impeach him because he's going to be out of office the next day. What are we going to do about that? Where's the accountability? He can just pardon himself, right? There's no accountability. That creates a dictatorship. People are handing away our democracy because they want to side with the person that's in their political party, and they don't want to stand up and I mean, like, the whole point of their diatribes, like Ted Cruz, Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever the hell her name is, they try to act macho. I got my guns. I'm a badass. You're not, because you don't have a spine, okay? I know invertebrates that have stronger backbones than you do. You're weak. You can't stand up to somebody that's already been voted out of office. You're giving this person power that they don't actually have, besides the fact that you are just handing it to them. You're handing Donald Trump the future of your party because you can't stand up to him. If you explain to your constituency just what was going on, they wouldn't be backing this man. But you see him as the way to get further into your careers. You see him as the most likely person to take up the mantle of president again, and you want to line up behind him. What happened to the Lindsey Graham of 2015 saying,
he's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for.
If you like this kind of content, please remember to hit the subscribe button. Share it with your friends. Pitch Canale, I will see you again.